The paper cartridge is the real icon when we talk about the muzzle loaders. Similarity, the metallic cartridge is the signature feature for bolt-action rifles, makes them look much more modern. Even though nearly all bolt-action rifles use metallic cartridges today, I also wondered, is there a bolt-action rifle out there that still uses the paper cartridge, kind of like the old muzzle loaders? When I looked into, I found that yes, bolt-action rifles using paper cartridges actually existed, not just one type either. But because the technology developed so fast in the late 19th century, only a few practical paper cartridge bolt-action rifles actually made it into history. These rifles even have a specific name, the needle gun. So what was the situation that pushed the paper cartridge bolt-action rifles to be created? Imagine this, in the 19th century, after about 400 years of using muzzle loaders, soldiers on the battlefield suddenly saw their enemies ditching the clumsy muzzle loading. Instead, they just twisted a handle, easily slid in a cartridge, and fired right away. For the soldiers seeing this new kind of gun for the first time, it probably feels like science fiction. Maybe soldiers seeing tanks in World War I felt a similar shock. Now, let's go back to the mid-19th century. The Crimean War was the major turning point. The muzzle-loading rifled musket, using the minié bow, made the firearms much more accurate, but the reloading was still tough, and since the soldiers had to stand up to load from the muzzle, trench warfare made this a real problem. As firearm accuracy improved, soldiers reloading in the crammed trenches were virtually exposed to enemy gunfire, which became a key driver for nations to accelerate military technological innovation. The idea of a branch loader wasn't new in history. The main hurdle for branch loading firearms was always sealing the branch mechanism tightly. Gas leaks would cut down muzzle velocity, hurt accuracy, and could even burn the shooter's hand. This problem kept popping up in early designs until metallic cartridges became standard, finally solving the leakage issue. So, before the metallic cartridge era, muzzle loaders were still the military standard, but this doesn't mean it was impossible for branch loaders to get as good as muzzle loaders, because back in 1808, Swiss gunsmith Jean-Samuel Pauly, working with French gunsmith François Pella in Paris, invented the world's first fully self-contained cartridge. This breakthrough included a copper base with an embedded mercury fulminate primer, Pauly's key idea, plus a round bullet, all wrapped in either a brass or paper casing. The cartridge loaded through the breech and ignited via a needle fire system, starting a new age of needle-activated central fire branch loaders, a design that quickly became a blueprint for future gun development. Pauly also developed the gun to go with it and patented an improved version on September 29, 1812. Furthermore, in 1809, Pauly hired the German craftsman Johann Nicolaus von Dries, who would later create the famous Dries needle gun, history's most well-known needle gun. For now, I'll set aside the companion firearm from Pauly's design, since it's relatively immature. The ones we're including today are those truly put into active service. When we just talk about the Dries needle gun, we must mention equally famous chest port rifle. But was there the only early bolt-action rifles? If we dig deeper, we'll find that there are actually more than just those two in the middle 19th century. The main types included the Prussian Dries needle gun, the Dorsch and von Bogarten Model 1861 rifle from Schaumburg-Lever, the Russian Colt needle gun, the French chest port rifle, and the Italian Gargano needle gun. Compared to the earlier branch loaders, which were basically muzzle loaders with a backdoor, the needle guns were far more modern. Although needle guns had a bolt action that securely locked the chamber, the paper cartridges still had major flaws. For example, they couldn't perfectly stop gas from leaking, and the paper casing made them very sensitive to moisture, which also hurt their overall durability. Plus, the gun itself had a long, skinny firing pin. After firing, this pin was somewhat exposed to the black powder gases, making it prone to corrosion and damage, which could cause the gun to malfunction. In my opinion, the middle gun is a super cool concept. It manages to keep that old-school, vintage vibe like muzzleloaders, but at the same time, it has a modern touch. This unique blade gives needle guns a flavor all their own. Even so, we have to admit that, as a military weapon, the needle gun had many downsides, but the needle gun is still probably one of the most successful firearms that used paper cartridges. Ultimately, needle gun was just an important but short transitional step in history from the 1840s to the 1870s, and it bridged the paper cartridge era and the metallic cartridge era.